This is what they don't want you to know. How a lot of officers use case law to violate your rights. This is what it sounds like when you try to stand up for your rights in Fullerton, California. A lot of times, police officers use case law for their advantage to take advantage of your rights.
It would be like insane of me to say like, yeah, I know every single California vehicle code, and I know every single California penal code, and I know every single case law. I may not know the names to some of these things or the codes necessarily for everything, but it's knowing what you can do and what you can't do, and you better be able to call on that case law and those penal code sections when you have to. So I was just trying to educate more than anything else, just to let you know, yeah, I am aware of that case law, but my job is to look at this whole thing and make sure that our officers didn't violate the law, they didn't violate your rights, and that they didn't violate policy, which again is what I'm going to do. But I wanted to start by talking to you, you know?
Yeah, I understand. After filing a complaint on December 12, 2024 on an officer who pulled me over for a simple traffic stop. Almost a year later today, October 13, 2025, I was contacted by Internal Affairs by the officer named Donald Bloom. Bloom tries to tell me that the officer was justified under Pennsylvania v. Mimms. I let them know the case law, exactly what they're saying. And I put it out there so people can be educated if I'm right and if I'm wrong. But right now, I do not see where they had any justification to do that. To pull a gun out on me, that was just excessive force.
And again, that stuff I haven't looked at, Rashawn. I'm just telling you, as you tell me kind of about what happened, I'm telling you that yes, case law allows officers to.
Coming at you, I just was thinking about the officers, all of those officers. I'm in my mind, I start thinking, well, you probably know every last one of them. Y'all probably best friends. And so,
and Rashawn, and I know our officer, our department is a small department. I know all of them, but my job, this position, is for me to sit here and to make sure that our officers are doing what they're supposed to be doing. That is my job. So, again, to have you say like, oh, well, you know them, or you know, probably nothing's going to happen with this. Like, to me, it hurts a little bit because that is my sole purpose to be here, is to make sure that our cops are doing what they're supposed to be doing.
What's your name? Bloom. I'm sorry, Officer Bloom. I didn't mean to come at you that way. I just kind of flashed back to the situation. I just didn't like that night, and you know that's the reason why I filed the complaint. Yeah, because the officer who pulled out his gun, I want to file a complaint on him. Mainly, that's the main person I wanted to file a complaint on, but he would not give me his name. He hopped in his car and pulled off while I was talking. So he wouldn't say one word to me.
Okay. So let me do this, Rashawn. Like I said, you were my first step in this, is to talk to you.
Okay.
I'll email it over to you, those cases, as soon as I find the actual name. And like I said, I don't. My partner's saying the case is Mimms. He overheard me talking to you. But anyway.
Okay, Mimms. I know about Mimms.
Yeah, he's saying that that's the case. He's overhearing me talking to you, but I will. Let me send you I'll send you something, a link or something to it.
Okay.
And then, like I said, I'll look into this. I got to interview these guys. I got to look at all the body worn cameras. I got a lot of stuff that I got to do, but I wanted to talk to you first.
All right, I appreciate it, officer. That is a case from 1977, claiming this law lets them pull anyone out the car, no matter what's the situation. But see, this is what they won't tell you. Mimms only applies when there's real safety issues, like an officer seeing a bulge that could possibly be a weapon, or when there's an obvious threat, not when they just feel like it, or they just feel like they're scared. Then that would make them the feelings police. On December 12, 2024, Officer K. Ibiko, an officer at Fullerton, California Police Department, pulled me over a light out in my license plates, which he stated was a simple traffic stop. He asked me for my license, I gave it to him. Before even running my name, he asks me to step out of the car. Once I asked him what was the probable cause, that's when the problem started. This is when he mentioned case law, but never stated what case law, stating that it was this new law that was just passed by the courts in Fullerton. He couldn't even articulate the reason why.
I can only tell you this, Rashawn. Like, for example, if I did a car stop today, and I started developing some suspicion while I'm out there that maybe somebody in the car had narcotics, if I were to call a dog over and just have them do an outer sniff of the car, there
How can you articulate the reason why I was searched for no reason? Like, he couldn't even articulate that.
Yeah, and again, Rashawn, I wasn't out there, right? So I can tell you what I think happened. Again, this is without me looking at all the video yet and any of that stuff.
So is there a law that for a basic traffic stop that the courts passed the law that he can pull anybody out the car and search them, frisk them up and down?
Yeah, so let me break it down. I'll break it down into two parts for you, Sean. So if I were to do a traffic stop, that it's inherently dangerous for us to deal with, in this case, a driver of a car while we're outside of the car. So the courts have ruled that if we want to take a driver out of the car, we can take a driver out of the car.
Ibiko then stated to me that he did not need a probable cause because of this case law. Soon as I mentioned my rights being violated, his backup officer opens my passenger door and pulls his gun out at me. At this point, I step out of the car because I was pretty much forced. Soon as I step out and walk to the back of the car and I start to ask what was the probable cause, Ibiko then frisks me up and down. Then that's when he directed me to sit on the ground with my arms crossed and my feet crossed for over an hour, while he waits on another backup officer with a K9, and never once articulated a reason or probable cause. Just pure humiliation. And this is the part that they just don't want you to know. What they're doing is hiding behind old case laws to violate your rights, especially people with darker skin. While they play games and act like this is some normal police procedure, but it's not. But here's the truth. Courts have already said in Rodriguez v. United States in 2015, once the purpose of the traffic stop is done, you cannot prolong it just to wait for a K9, unless you have some type of real suspicion. And that's just the law. And this video is not about hating on police because some cops are good. This video is about awareness. Because there are good cops out there that protect your rights. But then there's bad cops who abuse case laws to take away all your rights. So the difference is very simple. One cop serves the people. Then there's bad cops who hide behind legal loopholes. I'm only sharing this video to educate and to protect every black and brown person who's ever been in this situation and your rights was just snatched away, which in that moment you just feel completely powerless. Just remember, knowing the law is your real protection. So if they can't name the probable cause, it's probably because they never had one. After Ibiko violated my rights, I remained silent and would not speak anymore. When the officer with the K9 came and circled around my car and the dog never got one hit, this is when Officer Ibiko just kept questioning me and asking me, why didn't you pull over right away? Even though I pulled inside a Shell's gas station that had a lot of lights and 24-hour surveillance for his safety and mine. But when I remained silent, Ibiko got mad. He looks at me and say, oh, you want to play that game? And he goes back to his car and he comes back with a ticket. And the ticket was for the license plate light and also him saying that I went over the white line at the red light. Even though that's what I had to do once he put the lights on me at the light. I also tried to refuse to sign the ticket, but Officer Ibiko threatened me with arrest, so I signed it. Once I was released, I pulled my car to a gas pump and I came back out the car and I asked each officer what their names and badges was. No officer would give it to me. They were talking smart to me and crazy, so I laughed in their face. So I just had to go off of the ticket that had K. Ibiko name on it to file my report. If you ever had any run-ins with the law like this, drop your comments below and let me know how it went for you. And if you are a lawyer, message me. If you want to go fight this, I'm ready.